Meanwhile, of course, we are following the latest developments in Charlotte, North Carolina, where parts of the city are recovering from a second night of violent clashes between protesters and police. Several officers, in fact, and demonstrators were injured in last night's various clashes. One person is said to be on life support after he was shot. People do remain in a collective state of demonstrative anger with regard to the shooting death of Keith Scott. Witnesses and police, meanwhile, are telling very different accounts, in fact, of what happened. Our Don Champion has more.
He ain't moving.
A witness took this video moments after Keith Lamont Scott fell to the pavement, shot by police outside of an apartment complex Tuesday. The department says Officer Brentley Vinson, on the force for 2 years, shot the 43-year-old.
They put handcuffs on him.
Witness Taisha Williams differs with the police account and says a white police officer pulled the trigger.
He had his hands up and the book fell off his lap. He walked to the back of the car, and then next thing you know, they shot him 4 times.
We did not find a book that has been made reference to.
Police Chief Kerr Putney said Scott posed an imminent deadly threat. CBS affiliate WBTV obtained a picture they say may show a gun near the victim's feet.
He exited the vehicle armed with a handgun. I don't know that he definitively pointed the weapon specifically towards an officer.
This is a difficult situation for everyone involved.
Mayor Jennifer Roberts said she had not seen police footage from the shooting.
We have a long history of transparency and accountability.
Community activists say they expect more from the city's leaders, and they expect peace from protesters.
It's imperative that they talk to us. We pay them. Don't we pay the police?
Yes, sir.
So I think they need to sit down with us at a table of peace.
And Don Champion is there now in the streets of Charlotte. And Don, again, with regard to the stories that we've heard from police and the witnesses we just saw there in your piece, very different accounts of what may have happened with regard to the shooting of Keith Scott. The dash cam and body cam footage then appears to be even more so an imperative here. So what do we know with regard to who will see it and when they will see it?
That's right, and certainly all the violence that we've seen over the past 2 days, the calls for more transparency with this case are certainly growing much. This morning, we did learn that the Scott family did request to see police video of the shooting. At last check, we were told that arrangements were being made to make sure that happened, possibly as early as today. Also last night, Josh, the city did confirm that the mayor was going to be looking at the dash camera video of the shooting. She has not seen it just yet, but in a statement this morning from a source, we did learn that she wants to wait until the family views the video. There is a concern, we're being told, that the video may not be so conclusive in terms of solidifying what exactly happened to Keith Scott on Tuesday, but certainly a lot of people here are really calling on the police chief to release those videos. We should mention that the officer who opened fire on Scott, we are told he was not wearing a body camera, but at least 3 other officers at that scene were. And of course, again, there was a dash camera video as well.
And again, we will see when, again, it is released, if it is, in fact, at all. I want to talk to you about the protests as well. Last night, 7 p.m., there at Marshall Park, things were peaceful. How did it get from what began as a peaceful protest? How did it become really utter chaos?
That was really startling to see, Josh. We were out here all day yesterday, and even in the neighborhood, we saw community members, activists, and members of the religious community here really trying to calm the tension that was just simmering, especially in the neighborhood where Scott was killed. And then last night we went to a local park here in downtown, and we saw some of those same religious leaders there helping to lead a big march that was full, and then a candlelight vigil. Then literally an hour later, Josh, that's when we saw that ugliness start to take shape here in uptown Charlotte. So it was quite astounding just to see how quickly that happened. But certainly attention is very much still very high here, especially when you consider that we are still getting this dueling narratives on what exactly happened to Keith Scott on Tuesday.
Just awful and all too familiar images. We're seeing some of them right now. With regard to updates then on the injured, one person shot, though we are told not by police said to be on life support right now. We do know other protesters and officers were also injured as well. What updates can you provide?
Yeah, we do know that 2 other civilians were taken to the hospital with injuries. We are still not sure what exactly those injuries were like. Also this morning, Josh, the police department did confirm that 4 officers were treated for very minor injuries, but still very much a very ugly night here in uptown Charlotte last night.
Again, Don Champion in Charlotte. We do appreciate it, and of course, stay safe.